Hello, hello, beautiful people. Oh my goodness, I already have a viewer. Good morning. This is my first time trying to record an episode of 321, as well as go live in the group. I need to do a better job of showing up for the group. So here we are. Oh, wow, look at that. It does captions as we go. Interesting. Well, I guess I'm going to be a better speaker eventually. Anyway, I wanted to jump on here while I had some time. I need to get back in the flow. I apologize and owe you guys regular episodes. I have a lot of really neat episodes and interviews coming up. I've been meeting people in different ways, and some of the stuff I've been focusing on personally, I think will be of great value to you. I've been learning more about everything from the Akashic records to Ayurveda, things that relate to work and how we show up in the world for other people. So there's a combination of a lot of things going on. And I had a list this morning of like half a dozen things I wanted to talk about. But I guess since I tend to share with you what's going on in my world. So in my world, I'm kind of doing this. Well, let me back up. So I've joined a class, and it's hosted by someone that I met in a sober community. And essentially, I'm learning how to trust my gut. She calls it the internal guidance system, and it's an amazing technique. And I'm learning a ton. I'm only on my third or fourth week. I've been on 2 coaching calls, and I know I need to do a better job of this, right? Sometimes, well, here's a consistent fact, no matter what I read, no matter who I listen to in this arena, is that our thoughts and our feelings are not true. So lots of people say this. What do I mean by that? Our first go-to of an emotion or a feeling or a story is something else that we talk about, is based on our history and our past. And if we want to get real woo-woo, depending on what I'm reading and how deep it goes, it could be past lives even. And I haven't become an expert enough on that to have that conversation with you, but these things come up based on our past. And I want to learn how to not live like that. I don't want past experience and emotions or hurts or whatever driving what happens in my today. I'm working really hard on trying to learn how to be present as much as possible. It'd be nice if it could happen all the time. I haven't figured that out yet, but it's a work in progress, right? That's why they say one day at a time in 12-step. So one of the things that I'm working on is trusting this IGS, this internal guidance system. And one of the exercises has to do with letting go of people that don't serve you, or maybe it's things that don't serve you. And I decided after the coaching call the other night that I needed to make some moves. I needed to put things out there, communicate, and follow how my gut was telling me. So I made the choice to cut loose a couple different things. One is a role in a job that I've been doing, and the other is a person that's very important to me. And it's tricky, guys. It's tricky sometimes to make those hard decisions and let things go that you've been hanging on to so long. And there's another constant theme that keeps coming up, and it's surrender, which could be another whole show, quite honestly. But the more we force things and try to hold on and control them, the harder there's more resistance and friction, and we may not get what we want. So I'm trying to learn how to surrender as well. And I think that from trusting my internal guidance system and listening to my gut and trying to understand that I'm making judgments based on my feelings or my thoughts, which may be true or untrue. I think a lot of them are untrue, but making those decisions that way hasn't been working. I'm not fulfilled. I'm not happy. I can look at different periods of my life when there's been people actively involved and it's been amazing, or they're actively not involved and it's been amazing. So I could see some of my patterns, and I had to make a very hard choice. And it wasn't mine alone, right? Like the universe and the person helped me make that choice. And instead of getting hung up on, oh, I can't live without this relationship, I'm choosing to look at it as a timing. This is not the right time for us to put this effort. It's draining. It's distracting. It makes me quite grumpy a lot. It makes me double guess. Is that the right word? Double guess myself, double check myself. So I don't need any of that noise. I have a really big mission, right? I got to build these recovery playgrounds, and I got to help the world understand more about gambling addiction, mental health, all of those things. That's my responsibility. And that was kind of how I put it this morning, which I don't know that I ever put it pen to paper before, but I'm here for a purpose. You are all here for a purpose. We're all here for a purpose. Now, we may or may not know what that is, but we have a purpose. I'm pretty clear on mine. Now, who knows? Maybe my internal guidance assistant will tell me that I've been thinking I have one purpose and I have a different one. I'm not sure, but I'm open to learning. So back to the fact that when you have to cut something loose, I want to help kind of frame it, because, and again, I'm talking to myself, right? To end relationships or things. One of my biggest feelings is guilt. Am I hurting the other person or people involved? Like when it comes to the work part. And I can't take that responsibility. So this morning, well, last night before we went to bed, I'm at mom's house still. And she said she wanted to get up at 4:00 this morning and start working. And I bounce between my room and the couch. And I'm just, some nights I sleep better in one place than some nights other. So when she went upstairs, I was still on the couch. Now this morning, 7:30 rolls around and she's still in bed. I'm like, dude, you wanted to work. She's like, well, you were sleeping on the couch. And I was like, well, I relocated upstairs hours ago. I knew that she wanted to work and I knew I wanted to sleep beyond 4. So I had moved and that was fine. That was what was in my control. What wasn't in my control was whether or not she chose to go downstairs and turn the light on and start working and all of that. And mind you, I had my really cute, I wish I could show you, my sloth iPad or eye cover thing masks, which, oh, by the way, that I got one of those for a conference or something, and it was one of the best gifts I ever have. Now I can't live without them. So I have them in my travel bags and by my bed. But anyway, so I go to the store to get coffee, and I'm like, geez, I made her lose 3 hours of work, and I'm carrying this burden. But at the end of the day, it's not my burden to carry. She had a choice to get up and turn on the light. She has to take responsibility for her thing. Come to find out, it sounds like she was just kind of giving me a little grief, which is fine. Which once she clarified that, it was even easier to let it go. But what I'm learning is guilt is like make believe. So here I was, the way we learn this in the IGS piece is guilt is a stressor, and stressors are generally not true, or what I'm thinking isn't true. So here I am thinking I messed up her day and I was responsible, and that wasn't true. And not for nothing, I shouldn't have to hang on to that guilt. What was that going to do? That was just going to make me feel bad. I'm tired of feeling bad, especially because of other people's actions or inactions or their thoughts or their perceptions. Now I'm willing to talk about anything with anybody in my life to make things better. And that's truly what I believe. I believe that if you love someone, especially if you love someone, which I think I love everybody, quite honestly. And since we got rid of that H word from my vocabulary, I'm pretty easygoing. But if we love someone, and just out of common respect and acceptance that we're all human beings doing the best we can, we should be able to have conversations, healthy conversations. Maybe they're hard, maybe they're not, but communicating is one of the biggest pieces of the puzzle. So back to how I'm approaching severing these things this week. I already feel lighter. I would hate to say that to the person or the people involved, but I do, which means I'm taking care of myself. And I think one of the visions that comes to mind is, you know, the ball and chain, right? That some of these relationships are just weighing us down. And then once we get rid of them, it's like, whoo, I can go running. I can go fast. I can take care of business. And there's still a voice in the back of my head saying, just that timing, right? Timing is not right. I need to go fast right now. I don't need to be hung up on the mud or dealing with the difficult conversations or doing the things to preserve this relationship that isn't adding enough value to my life or my purpose. So that's what I wanted to talk about today. Am I grieving? Absolutely. But I think the way I knew in my gut, you'll know in your gut too, if you're in one of these positions. And I've been grieving for a long time, knowing that it was coming. I was just finally having the courage. And one more piece is I put it out there. I put all the chances. I said everything again in my control. We go to program thinking. God grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. Well, I can only control me. And I'm starting to get that wisdom. I shouldn't say starting. I have it. Just sometimes I apply it. Sometimes I don't. Anyway, welcome to me trying to publish the podcast in the group. I will also upload it onto iTunes and all of those other places. They may be short and sweet. I'm not sure ever what's going to fall out of my mouth. As I continue my journey of following my intuition, my spirituality, discovering stuff, I'm really having more faith that whatever comes out of my mouth is what's supposed to come out of my mouth, which is why I don't script and get real formal. So thank you for putting up with me on that. And then just to share with you, like my beautiful background, this is one of the spots that I meditate when I'm driving between Connecticut and New York. It's just a great place to be. And I just noticed that this volume button hasn't been on all this time. It needs to be quiet so I don't hear you. Today was my first time, so thanks for experimenting with me. All right, beautiful people. I hope that you have a wonderful day. I love you, and I will talk to you soon. Thanks. I have no idea how to do this.